Hello and welcome back to the James Walker Show. In this episode, I'll be reviewing In the Shadow of the Moon. This is your Netflix Rewind. In the Shadow of the Moon is directed by Jim Mickle and stars Boyd Halbrook, Cleopatra Coleman, and Michael C. Hall. And it is a very ambitious project. Maybe a little bit too ambitious. But the movie starts off in 1988, where a street cop played by Boyd Halbrook is hot on the trail of a serial killer, and after the serial killer is presumably stopped, 9 years later the same occurrences start happening. So naturally Boyd Halbrook doesn't believe in coincidences, so he sets out on this path to find out what is going on once and for all. And I have to admit, this movie did surprise me, because if anybody saw the trailer, and stop me if I'm alone on this one, but when you see a trailer for a movie called In the Shadow of the Moon, and in like the first 10 seconds of the trailer, you see 10 people with puncture holes in their necks, and that's how they die. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? I kind of went with vampire. But then as the trailer went on, you realize this was a movie about time travel. I don't even really know like where to start with this movie. I mean, don't get me wrong. I liked it. I really, really liked it. It wasn't perfect, but there aren't any perfect movies out there besides Raiders of the Lost Ark. But for the most part, this was enjoyable. I was entertained. I was captivated by the story and the characters. And the payoff at the end, which I will get into spoilers, so if you haven't seen In the Shadow of the Moon, watch it before you finish this review. Now, the thing about this movie is that in order for this to work, at the end of the movie you have to have a huge payoff. And you have to really be sold on that payoff. And for me, I kind of was. I mean, I wasn't really. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. The acting is fantastic. Boyd Halbrook, I mean, this good-looking idiot. I mean, he was really good. I'm not going to say it's his best performance, but probably his best performance since Logan. Logan, I fucking loved him in. Cleopatra Coleman, I don't really know too much of what else she's been in, and she was just kind of like, okay. She just kind of reminded me of someone that just kind of like walked into the casting office. I was like, hey, are you guys making a movie? And they're like, yeah, we need this part. Put on this blue hoodie. I mean, she wasn't like anything special, and she never really sold me on her motives either. She does have a motive. It's all kind of like this bigger picture type thing, but I don't really understand like why her, you know? So basically what's going on is Cleopatra Coleman's character, which I don't even know if I got her name in it. Does she have a name in it? Travels back in time every 9 years to kill these people who are part of this civil war from the future. I think like 2024 or something. Which that's something that really threw me off about this, is the title of the movie. I cannot get over the title. I don't like that title at all. Like, why is it called In the Shadow of the Moon? Well, she can only time travel every 9 years when the moon is in alignment. Okay, I'm already fucking bored. Couldn't you have called the movie like 9 or something? Or 9 Lives. No, that was that cat one. But one thing I do appreciate about it is that the time travel aspect of it is such a small aspect of it. This is a movie solely about characters and kind of how they come to terms with things. I was really excited when I saw that Michael C. Hall was going to be in this, but then I kind of got like some instant dread. Because do you remember at the height of Dexter, and Michael C. Hall was going to go do this movie and it was going to be fucking amazing, and look, we got Dexter in this movie, and the movie was called Gamer? That's what I kind of thought was going to happen in this. But surprisingly enough, he was fucking awesome in this movie. I mean, I can't picture anybody else in that role but him. I mean, he was just fantastic. He was great. He was great. Probably not Oscar worthy, but it was enjoyable. I really like the way this movie was filmed too. I think the director, Jim Mickle, has a really good eye, and he knows like how he wants certain things to look. There's this great scene where at the beginning of the movie, it's kind of a cliche scene where you have the TV on talking about the news that's going on, and the character walks past that and is doing stuff in the kitchen. While this is cutting back and forth to what he's doing in the kitchen, the TV stays right here. I thought that was a really interesting idea. I like how it was done. On a side note about the filming though, I never realized how cool Philadelphia looks at night. I wonder if they ever thought about using Philadelphia for a Batman movie. This movie was almost 2 hours, and I really felt that it could have been cut back. There's a lot of stuff in there you didn't need. I don't really want to say second act, because it's kind of like when the first act ends, goes into the second act, and kind of at the beginning of the third act is all stuff that you kind of didn't need. Boyd Halbrook is obsessed with this case. It's putting a strain on a relationship with his daughter, with his brother-in-law, with just kind of everybody. It's kind of driving him crazy, and it shows he's not taking care of himself. And I kind of felt that that was something that you didn't need to spend a whole lot of time on. You could have cut a lot of stuff out and put a lot more interesting things in there, in just my opinion. I will say though, the biggest thing that this movie had going for it, which really fucking sold me on, was this was an original movie. This wasn't based on a TV show. This wasn't a remake. This wasn't a reboot. Not based on a comic book. Not an American adaptation of a foreign film. This was an original movie, and I really praise the filmmakers, and I really do praise Netflix for coming up with a strong original story. This was a really good original story that I was just really into. Except for that fucking title. I hate that fucking title. I'm gonna give In the Shadow of the Moon. Watch it. If it comes up in your suggested feed, go ahead and give it a watch. Thanks for watching. Be sure to comment below. Let me know what you think of In the Shadow of the Moon. And for more Netflix Rewinds, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. And as always, I will see you in the next episode.